You clicked for something raw, didn't you? You're in the right place. No buildup, no stalling. This story hits like a spark in dry grass. If you're a regular, hit like and subscribe. If you're new, welcome. Let's dive in. His breath burned against my neck as Jack, now 35, leaned in whispering, "Does your husband ever make you feel like this?" I couldn't answer, not right away. My palms gripped the edge of the sink in our cramped Detroit apartment, the cool granite anchoring me while his hands locked onto my hips like he already knew the truth. I swallowed hard, forced a shaky smile. "Does your wife let you do this to her?" I shot back, leaning into him, letting my body speak what my mouth couldn't. He let out a sound, half laugh, half growl. "You didn't answer." I didn't have to. My pulse was doing it for me. The heat between us wasn't just skin. It was the kind that comes from breaking free, from knowing we shouldn't, from knowing we wouldn't stop. My heart pounded harder with every second we kept going, like it could taste the borrowed time, like it knew we were one wrong move from shattering. I reached for him without thinking. He caught my wrists firmer than my husband ever had, pinning them to the counter. It woke something in me I hadn't felt in years, not at home, not in my own bed. His mouth was at my ear again. "You love that she doesn't know." Her name, Ellen, flashed through my mind, a warning flare in the dark. My friend, my confidant. But his fingers slid lower, slow, deliberate, stealing the air from my lungs, and the thought burned away. I bit my lip. The rhythm quickened, less careful, more urgent, like we both knew the clock was ticking. The kitchen filled with the sound of rushed movements, restless, alive with the weight of what we were doing. Jack. He moved again, intentional, sharp, and I clutched the counter as my breath caught under his hand. That's what Jack did to me, things my husband couldn't touch. Everything else faded. He filled the emptiness my marriage never reached. I was gone, lost in the pulse of his weight behind me until I looked up. Ellen. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed, watching us, and we didn't even stop. I froze, but Jack didn't. My body screamed to pull away, to break the rhythm, but he wouldn't let me. His arms tightened around my waist, holding me like he'd planned for this panic. "Wait," I gasped, voice half breath, half plea. He didn't slow. He pulled me closer, harder, my hands slamming against the counter. The words I meant to say dissolved under his weight. He kept moving, steady, relentless, and my body betrayed me, answering him despite her eyes on us. She stood there, arms still crossed. I braced for screams, for rage. Instead, she tilted her head, set her purse on the table like she'd just come home from a shift. She slipped off her jacket, draped it over a chair, and sat down. Her gaze never left me. "You two look like you're having fun," she said, voice soft, almost amused. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. My pulse was everywhere, neck, chest, stomach. I was still moving with him, caught in his rhythm too, aware of every sound, every second she watched. Jack didn't falter. "Yeah," he breathed behind me, grinning. "She's incredible." He moved with purpose, like he was proving it to her. I let out a sound I didn't hear clearly. My knees buckled. Ellen smiled, a sharp little thing that cut deeper than words. My thoughts blurred. I tried to read her face, but all I could feel was Jack, steady, intense, owning every inch of me. Ellen uncrossed her legs, leaned forward, pulled her phone from her purse. She pressed it to her ear, turning slightly, but not all the way. "Good news?" she said, voice light, casual. "Yeah, it finally happened. I didn't know who she was talking to. I couldn't think straight." I clung to the counter, breathless, with every shift moving on instinct, while my mind scrambled to catch up. She ended the call, slipped the phone back, and stood. Then she started undressing. Her eyes locked on mine, steady, unyielding, as she slid her blouse over her head. Her skirt followed no rush, no shame pooling on the floor like a discarded promise. She stepped forward, her gaze a secret I couldn't read. Slow, silent, deliberate. My brain couldn't keep up. She moved toward us as I was still caught, still held in place. Jack stopped my back taut with the echo of his last move. Silence crashed in heavy waiting. His hands stayed on my hips, his breath hot on my neck, poised. He didn't pull back. He held me there waiting for her. Ellen reached me. She stood close, calm, quiet. Her fingers grazed my chin, lifting it slow and sure. I couldn't speak. She leaned in and kissed me. I didn't know what it meant, only that it pinned me in place. She pulled back, lips closed, eyes boring into mine. Her fingers traced my jaw lighter than they needed to be, then slid down until they found my hand. She didn't speak. I followed. My legs weren't steady. My breath caught in my throat. Jack was still behind me, a second pulse close, constant. We moved to the living room. Ellen led me to the couch, paused, turned to him. No words, just a look. Jack sat. She guided me again lower into his lap. I settled there, my back against his chest. He adjusted beneath me, that same steady confidence, his arms circling my waist, like nothing had changed, like we were picking up where we left off. He moved slower, careful every shift, deliberate, lingering. Ellen leaned in, standing between my knees, her eyes never leaving mine. She kissed me again, soft, slow, her mouth open, claiming. Her hand slid along my thighs like she was taking what was hers. No rush, no questions. She moved the way she wanted, and I let her. Her lips trailed lower, leaving heat on my chest, my stomach. Her hands never left my skin, guiding steady, warm. When she knelt, I felt the shift, not just in height, but in everything. Her breath teased where her hands hadn't gone, light, deliberate. Jack moved behind me, slow, even his hands on my hips anchoring me as Ellen leaned closer. Her mouth was unhurried, precise. I gasped, sharp, soft, reaching for something, anything. My fingers found Jack's wrist, my legs tensing, but her hands guided them, setting the rhythm, owning it. He pulled me closer, firm, final. She came nearer, and I forgot who was doing what. My head fell back against Jack's shoulder. My lips parted with words I'd never finish. My chest heaved with her every breath. Each time I thought I'd tip over the edge, she slowed, keeping me there, playing me, not just with her hands, but with everything. Then it hit sharp, overwhelming, unstoppable. My voice broke into a cry that didn't sound like mine. Jack held me tighter. Ellen didn't move. She waited, letting it roll through me, wave after wave, like she knew it wouldn't stop right away. She stood across the room, grabbed her phone from the bedside table, tapped the screen, looking satisfied. "I know it's a lot," she said, softer now. "And you're probably still figuring out what this is." She opened a drawer, pulled out a strip of fabric, and stepped toward me, calm and control. "But we've got one more surprise." She reached out, tied the fabric around my eyes. The world went dark. "You can come in," she called. Footsteps approached, new ones. Then I heard it, the clink of a belt, the soft slide of fabric, the faint thud of it hitting the floor. I wanted to scream. Everything in me trembled, my breath, my thoughts, my legs still shaking from before. I couldn't see him. I couldn't stop. I didn't even know who he was. Ellen had called him in. Jack stayed behind me, holding me steady, his grip an anchor. No one spoke. Then I heard it again, fabric rustling, a belt unbuckling, steps closing in. I flinched, but Jack's hands didn't budge. They held me firm, unyielding. I wanted to stop, but my body wouldn't listen. The stranger's breath was close, brushing my neck, the space between us collapsing with a calm that scared me. He touched my legs, parting them slowly, confidently. I gasped as his body pressed against mine, no warning, no question. It was happening, and I couldn't pretend it wasn't. I didn't want to make a sound, but it came anyway, raw, uncontrolled. Ellen laughed softly behind me, her arms circling my chest like she'd been waiting for this forever. He moved with a rhythm that demanded everything and gave nothing back. My body answered before I could think. Ellen kissed my cheek, whispered something soft in my ear, words I couldn't hold, only feel. They didn't make sense. They didn't have to. Then it shifted. Arms lifted me, guided me forward, lowered me. I didn't know whose they were. I was pressed against him, skin to skin, breath to breath. The couch adjusted beneath us as he lay back, his hands on my waist, urging me to move. I braced for something, but he didn't rush. He moved easy, like he knew how far I'd go. Who was he? He was beneath me now, steady, patient, in control, and somehow I was moving not by choice but by momentum. Ellen kissed me again, and I knew I'd surrendered completely. Everything blurred, heat, skin, air. I couldn't hold anything. Her hand brushed the back of my head, guiding me lower. I followed without asking why. Then a grip, firm, sure. I felt the shift as someone joined me, aligning with me, their breath a shock through my chest. I was caught between them, pressed from both sides. No one stopped. They moved together in sync, sinking knowing, and I couldn't pull away even if I wanted to. I could barely think, but I kept moving. Two now, one below, one behind, surrounding me, while Ellen stayed close, her hands on my face, her mouth warm at my ear, holding me here in every way. My legs trembled again. Every rhythm pulled me higher, tighter, closer to something I wasn't ready to name. I was stretched to breaking, teetering on the edge. I couldn't take it, couldn't think. My thoughts dissolved, and all that was left was motion, pressure, breath, and a rush I couldn't stop. The man beneath me shifted, rising just enough. One hand steadied my back, the other reached up. He pulled the blindfold off. Light flooded in. The blur sharpened. His eyes, his skin, then a face I knew. Frank, my husband. He looked at me calm, smiling faintly. "Let go," he said. He moved again, slow, full certain, and I broke into pieces I couldn't put back together. That's where it ends. I want to know, did it hit you? Was there a moment that caught you? Something off? Tell me your thoughts. Your feedback makes this better. Before you go, hit like, subscribe, and the bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching.